Imagine humanity being watched for centuries and only now finally noticed. A mysterious object appears at the edge of the Orion sector, a ship like no other, carrying intelligence far older than anything humans have seen. The stars go silent as the Titan class approaches, holding the fate of humanity in its massive hull. Ancient technology, mysterious signals, and first contact await, promising to change everything we know about our place in the universe. If you enjoyed this incredible first contact story, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join us for more amazing interstellar adventures, and don't miss a single journey into the unknown. Humanity's deep space monitoring team was used to detecting strange phenomena in the far reaches of space, but nothing could have prepared them for the readings that appeared one quiet morning. The sensors had picked up a massive energy signature unlike anything recorded before. It was enormous, far more powerful than any known star or black hole. The scientists stared at the screens in disbelief, checking and rechecking the data, running simulations. Every measurement confirmed that this was not a natural phenomenon. Something artificial, something intelligent, was out there. The object seemed to be drifting at the edge of the Orion sector, hundreds of light years from Earth. Its sheer size was staggering, larger than any human-built station or fleet, yet it moved with deliberate precision, as if aware of its surroundings. The astronomers felt a mixture of fear and awe, their minds racing with questions. Was it a ship, a station, or something entirely different? How long had it been there, silently waiting for discovery? News of the finding reached military command, but it was tightly controlled. The implications of this discovery were enormous. It could be hostile, or it could be the first contact with an intelligent extraterrestrial civilization. Emergency strategy meetings were held. Some leaders urged caution, recommending observation from a safe distance, while others pushed for a direct approach using humanity's most advanced vessels. Meanwhile, the monitoring team studied the energy signature in greater detail. Its patterns were unlike anything humans had encountered. Pulses of power radiated in regular intervals, almost as if it were sending a message. Computers struggled to process the complexity of the data. Algorithms failed repeatedly. The scientists felt a mix of excitement and dread, realizing they might be witnessing a historic event. As more information came in, a clearer picture emerged. The object had enormous structures, sharp edges, and smooth surfaces that reflected starlight in unusual ways. It appeared both ancient and highly advanced, technology far beyond human comprehension, yet it had remained undetected for centuries. Floating silently in the void, the discovery prompted profound questions. Humanity had long wondered if we were alone, and now the answer seemed within reach. Leading engineers and astrophysicists proposed scanning missions, sending probes equipped with the most advanced sensors to capture images and measure the energy output. Each scan revealed more complexity, layers of materials that defied understanding, structures that could not have formed naturally. The research teams worked tirelessly, fascination growing with every new reading. A reconnaissance fleet was quietly mobilized in secret. The Titan class, humanity's most advanced ship, was prepared for deployment. Systems checked, weapons tested, shields calibrated, pilots trained relentlessly, aware of the risks. Yet the chance to witness humanity's first contact with an advanced alien presence drove them forward. The energy signature pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat across the void, calling for attention. Speculation spread quietly among scientists and academics. The discovery challenged everything humans thought they knew about the universe. Some theorized it was the remnant of an ancient alien civilization. Others warned it could be a trap or a probe meant to study humans. Yet all agreed on one thing. This was a historic moment. The instant humanity stepped fully into the larger universe. At the edge of the Orion sector, the massive object drifted silently. Imposing and mysterious, its scale incomprehensible, its origin unknown, yet it beckoned humanity forward, a challenge and an invitation. The discovery marked the beginning of a new era, not just in space exploration, but in the story of humanity itself. Questions about life, intelligence, and destiny filled every mind as humans prepared to confront the unknown for the very first time. As soon as the discovery was confirmed, the world shifted into high alert. Governments and agencies debated how to respond to an unknown alien presence. Fear and excitement mixed in equal measure. Scientists, engineers, and military strategists worked around the clock. Earth had never faced anything like this, and everyone knew that preparation was the only way to survive. The most important step was readying humanity's most advanced warship, the Titan class, a vessel built for both defense and exploration. Its massive hull, reinforced with the latest materials, could withstand extreme energy blasts, and its propulsion systems were designed for high-speed maneuvers across vast distances. The engineers inspected every system, running simulations to ensure that nothing could fail. Weapons were calibrated with precision, shields reinforced, and communication systems upgraded to handle unknown signals. Pilots and crew underwent intensive training, practicing emergency maneuvers, evasive actions, and first contact protocols. They learned to interpret alien signals, even if they were incomplete, and to respond without provoking hostility. Every crew member knew that a single mistake could escalate the situation. The atmosphere on the Titan class was tense, but a sense of purpose filled every corridor. Meanwhile, scientists on Earth worked tirelessly to understand the energy signature and anticipate potential dangers. The object's pulses were unpredictable, yet some patterns emerged, hinting at intelligence behind the signals. Teams ran countless algorithms to simulate possible scenarios. What if it was a weapon, a trap, or a sentinel observing humanity? What if it was neutral or even friendly? They prepared for all possibilities, creating contingency plans for defense, communication, and diplomacy. The tension between caution and curiosity weighed heavily on everyone involved. Political leaders debated publicly and privately. Some urged caution, fearing that a hostile response could bring disaster. Others argued for bold action, claiming that showing strength would earn respect from the alien intelligence. Media outlets speculated endlessly, stirring public imagination, conspiracy theories, and excitement. Yet the decisions were made in secrecy. The reconnaissance mission had to remain precise and controlled. Every detail of the Titan class's journey was planned down to the smallest maneuver. Crew members trained in zero-gravity simulations, emergency drills, and rapid response exercises. They learned to operate advanced sensors, translate potential alien communications, and coordinate with the fleet. Even the engineers on board became part of the training, learning how to repair critical systems under pressure. Every member of the team felt the weight of humanity's hopes on their shoulders. The sense of history was palpable, and the excitement of being part of humanity's first possible contact with extraterrestrial intelligence inspired a unity unlike any before. The ship itself became a symbol of human ingenuity, a blend of science, engineering, and courage. Its sensors could detect minute energy fluctuations. Its shields could absorb enormous energy pulses, and its communication arrays were designed to adapt to alien frequencies. Engineers tested every system repeatedly, pushing the Titan class to its limits. They knew that once the ship reached the object, there would be no room for error. Every contingency had to be accounted for, from equipment failure to potential encounters with unknown alien technology. As the departure day approached, families of the crew watched nervously. Scientists and military officials gave final briefings, and the ship's systems were sealed for launch. The Titan class glimmered under the lights of the spaceport, its enormous size dwarfing everything around it. The crew felt a mixture of fear and pride, knowing that they were humanity's first ambassadors in this unprecedented journey. They carried the weight of every human being's curiosity, ambition, and hope. Finally, with the world watching quietly, the Titan class began its journey, its engines flaring as it moved away from Earth. Every system monitored, every calculation precise. The energy signature in the distance pulsed steadily, almost as if acknowledging the departure. The crew braced themselves, aware that they were leaving everything familiar behind and entering a region of space where the unknown awaited. Every moment of preparation, every hour of training, every simulation would now be tested against reality. The journey had begun, and humanity was about to take its first real step into the broader universe. The Titan class glided silently through the vast emptiness of space, its massive engines leaving a faint trail of light as it approached the mysterious object at the edge of the Orion sector. Every crew member was tense, watching the readings carefully. The sensors struggled to penetrate the alien shielding. Energy readings fluctuated wildly, sending waves of alarm and fascination through the command deck. The object loomed larger on the screens with every passing hour. Watch its enormous structure reflecting distant starlight in strange patterns. Its size and complexity were beyond anything humans had imagined. The closer they got, the more intricate the object appeared. Sharp edges, smooth metallic surfaces, and rotating components hinted at design and purpose. The crew speculated endlessly. Could this be a station, a ship, or some kind of sentinel? Every scan revealed more detail, but also more questions. Nothing about it seemed natural. Yet there was no sign of movement that suggested aggression, only a quiet, almost deliberate presence, as if it were aware of the Titan class approaching. The captain ordered cautious maneuvers, keeping the ship at a safe distance while maximizing sensor readings. Every decision was calculated to avoid misinterpretation. The crew worked tirelessly, decoding energy pulses, tracking the object's orientation, and preparing for any possible response. Despite the uncertainty, a sense of awe filled the corridors of the Titan class. They were the first humans to witness something so massive, intelligent, and alien up close. Hours passed as the ship drifted into orbit around the object, its scale overwhelming, dwarfing the Titan class itself. The sensors picked up strange signals, patterns that repeated but had no immediate meaning. Scientists and linguists aboard tried to decipher them, hoping to find a way to communicate. Meanwhile, engineers monitored the ship's systems, ensuring shields were ready for any unexpected energy discharge. Even the slightest miscalculation could prove catastrophic in this unknown environment. The object seemed to react to their presence. Energy pulses intensified intermittently, sending shivers through the ship's systems. Lights flickered, consoles beeped, and alarms occasionally triggered false warnings. The crew had to remain calm, interpreting these fluctuations not as attacks but as signals. The tension on the command deck was palpable, every eye glued to screens, every mind analyzing patterns, trying to anticipate what the object's next move would be. As the orbit stabilized, the crew discovered features that hinted at purpose and intelligence. Structures appeared deliberately aligned. Some parts seemed to rotate, others emitted faint light, almost like a heartbeat. The more they observed, the clearer it became that this was not a derelict or abandoned station. This was a sophisticated construct, designed with intention and precision far beyond human capability. The realization sent waves of excitement and fear through the team. The communications officer monitored for any signs of signals in frequencies humans could interpret. Sending out test pulses, the Titan class tried to initiate first contact. The object did not respond in any conventional way. Instead, it continued its rhythmic energy patterns, seemingly observing and studying the humans. The crew began to understand that the standoff was mutual, that the object itself was intelligent, and that any wrong move could change the nature of this encounter. Outside the ship, the object dominated the field of view, an enormous testament to alien engineering. Its sheer presence was both terrifying and beautiful. The vast emptiness of space seemed to shrink around it. As if the stars themselves had quieted to observe, crew members took turns monitoring the object, logging every fluctuation, every pulse, knowing that each piece of data could hold the key to understanding. Days of careful observation passed, with no aggressive action from the object. But the crew remained vigilant. Every maneuver measured, every sensor active, every signal scrutinized. They began to notice subtle changes, minute variations in energy output that hinted at awareness. At times, the object seemed to almost anticipate their moves, adjusting its orientation in response. The realization that they were being watched as closely as they watched it settled heavily over the crew. The Titan class had reached the point of no return. Now fully within the object's gravitational and energetic influence. The ship's sensors recorded every detail, feeding the data back to Earth. Every heartbeat, every pulse of energy, every reflection of light was logged. An entire civilization watched silently as humans approached. The crew understood that this was the true test of humanity's courage and ingenuity. Facing the unknown, they prepared for whatever might come next. Suddenly, the object emitted a massive pulse of energy that swept through space, momentarily overwhelming the Titan class's sensors and communication systems. Alarms blared across the bridge as lights flickered and consoles rebooted. The crew held their positions, gripping their consoles and seats, watching as the energy pulse rippled through space like a wave. It was both beautiful and terrifying, a reminder that they were in the presence of something far beyond human understanding. As the pulse faded, the ship's sensors began to stabilize, but the readings were unlike anything seen before. The energy patterns were structured, almost rhythmic, as if the object was attempting to communicate. Every crew member leaned over the displays, trying to interpret what it meant. Engineers and scientists collaborated, cross-referencing patterns with every known mathematical and linguistic code, but nothing matched. The object remained a mystery, and yet there was an unmistakable sense of intelligence behind every signal. Then the unimaginable happened. The sensors detected forms within the structure that resembled life, not human, but intelligent and purposeful. Holographic projections flickered across the ship's displays, showing shapes that shifted and moved in ways that defied physics. They were clearly beings, communicating in a language of light and frequency. The crew was silent, overwhelmed by the first real evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence interacting with humans. It was a moment of awe, fear, and excitement all at once. The beings seemed to study the Titan class, their light patterns shifting as if examining the humans. Attempts to respond through conventional communication failed, but the crew quickly realized that the alien intelligence was observing, reacting to their every move. Even the ship's defensive maneuvers were interpreted, and it became clear that subtlety and patience were critical. Any sudden action could be misunderstood as aggression, and the consequences were unknown. Scientists tried sending signals in return, using flashes of light, frequency modulations, and even simple geometric patterns. The alien forms responded with corresponding light pulses, creating a silent dialogue that neither side fully understood. The bridge was tense but filled with anticipation. Every crew member aware that they were part of humanity's first true interaction with an intelligent species. This was a moment no one had ever imagined, a milestone in human history. The alien projections moved gracefully, almost fluidly, their shapes shifting and refracting light in complex sequences. It was not just communication, but a form of expression. The crew realized that these beings might perceive reality in ways humans could barely comprehend. Every pulse of light conveyed meaning, emotion, and perhaps curiosity. The humans watched, amazed and cautious, trying to respond in kind. The Titan class had to remain perfectly still to avoid miscommunication. The ship's shields were on high alert, ready to absorb any unexpected energy. But the aliens made no hostile move. Instead, they continued to observe, adapting to the ship's presence. Their patterns became more intricate, more deliberate, as if they were testing the humans' intelligence and intentions. The crew felt a mix of relief and nervous excitement, knowing that every action mattered. Outside the hull, the object seemed almost alive, glowing with energy that pulsed in rhythm with the alien projections. Light cascaded across the ship's hull, creating shadows that danced across the decks. It was a spectacle that defied description, simultaneously beautiful and terrifying. The crew took turns monitoring the projections, recording every nuance, every shift in color or intensity. Each detail could be vital for understanding this first contact. Hours passed, and the dialogue, though silent and imperfect, began to feel mutual. The humans sent patterns, the alien forms responded, slowly creating a shared language of observation and reaction. No words were spoken, but a bridge of understanding was forming. The crew felt a sense of history being made, realizing they were witnessing something that would define humanity's place in the cosmos. By the end of this initial encounter, it was clear that the alien intelligence was not hostile, but curious. They studied the Titan class, acknowledging its presence, and perhaps even its achievement in reaching them. The crew, exhausted but exhilarated, prepared for the next steps, knowing that the encounter had only just begun. This was the moment when humanity realized that intelligent life existed beyond Earth, and that contact, careful and deliberate, was finally possible. Initial attempts at direct communication proved more difficult than the crew had anticipated. The alien projections continued their rhythmic pulses, but their language was entirely foreign. Patterns of light, frequency shifts, and energy bursts appeared deliberate, yet no immediate meaning could be discerned. The humans tried sending simple sequences, geometric shapes, prime number patterns, and even musical tones, but the responses remained cryptic. Each signal was met with a corresponding pulse, sometimes mirroring the human's pattern, other times changing it entirely, creating confusion and tension aboard the Titan class. The alien intelligence appeared to interpret the Titan class's defensive posture as potentially hostile. Every small movement of the ship, every adjustment of shields or sensor arrays was recorded and reacted to. For hours, the two sides remained in a delicate standoff, neither willing to make a bold move, yet both keenly aware of the other's intelligence. The crew felt the weight of the moment, knowing that a single mistake could provoke an unintended escalation. The tension was unlike anything experienced in human history. Every heartbeat on the ship seemed louder as they watched the pulsing lights outside. The captain ordered extreme caution, emphasizing patience and observation over action. Every crew member focused intensely on monitoring the object, decoding signals, and predicting responses. The energy readings fluctuated dramatically at times, causing brief surges in the ship's systems. Engineers worked tirelessly to keep the Titan class stable, ensuring that the shields could absorb unexpected pulses. Every system was operating at peak efficiency, yet the unpredictability of the alien presence kept everyone on edge. Hours turned into a full cycle of observation, with the crew noting patterns that suggested both curiosity and caution from the aliens. The human team realized that the projections were not attacking, but testing. Each response seemed to probe the Titan class, observing reactions to minor changes, adjusting energy pulses, and measuring the crew's consistency. The standoff became a silent negotiation, a delicate dance of intelligence where every action carried meaning. The crew began to understand that communication would require patience, understanding, and careful interpretation rather than force. Scientists aboard the Titan class worked relentlessly to decipher possible structures within the alien signals, cross-referencing patterns against every known language, mathematical system, and signal code. But the more they analyzed, the more complex it appeared. The signals were layered, multidimensional, and adaptive, far beyond anything humans had ever encountered. Yet within the complexity, the crew began to notice repeated motifs, subtle echoes that suggested recognizable intent. Small breakthroughs brought hope and excitement, as each observation could provide the key to successful interaction. The standoff created an unusual camaraderie among the crew, everyone aware that they were participating in history. Every officer, engineer, and scientist sharing in the responsibility and the thrill. They rotated shifts, monitoring energy pulses, testing hypotheses, and updating command protocols. Each team member contributed to the growing understanding that the encounter was a form of silent dialogue, a conversation conducted in energy, light, and reaction rather than words. Every moment of observation brought humanity closer to comprehension. Despite the tension, moments of wonder occurred. The alien projections exhibited patterns that resembled expression, not just communication. Flashes of light seemed almost playful at times, testing reactions. Other times, the pulses were steady and formal, signaling attention and observation. The crew began to realize that the intelligence they were dealing with was not only advanced, but also thoughtful, capable of analysis and assessment. This revelation both eased fear and intensified the need for caution. Slowly, the humans adapted, learning to send signals that were simpler, slower, and more deliberate. The aliens responded in kind, mirroring basic patterns and repeating sequences. For the first time, a tentative understanding began to emerge. The standoff transformed from tension-filled confrontation to a careful, silent communication. Every pulse and response became part of an unspoken conversation, testing patience, intellect, and humanity's ability to adapt to the unknown. By the end of this tense period, both sides had established a fragile rhythm, a balance between caution and curiosity, neither side hostile, but neither fully understood. The Titan-class crew realized that the encounter would require time, observation, and diplomacy. Patience became their greatest tool, and restraint their most powerful weapon. This delicate interaction marked the beginning of true first contact, showing humanity that intelligence and caution must work together when facing the unknown. After hours of careful observation, a junior communications officer aboard the Titan class noticed a pattern that others had overlooked. Amid the complex pulses and flashes, a sequence repeated at irregular intervals. At first, it seemed random, but with closer analysis, it revealed a structure, a rhythm that suggested intention. The officer reported the finding immediately, and the senior team quickly focused all efforts on decoding it. This discovery became a turning point, as it hinted at a potential way to establish clearer communication with the alien intelligence. The team worked tirelessly, cross-referencing the sequences against mathematical patterns, prime numbers, and binary code. Slowly, a rudimentary understanding began to form. The repeating sequence could be interpreted as a form of greeting, a recognition of the human's presence and capabilities. Excitement spread through the command deck, but it was tempered by caution. They knew that misinterpretation could still provoke unintended consequences. Yet, for the first time, there was a sense of mutual awareness, a bridge between species starting to emerge. Using this insight, the humans adjusted their signaling methods, sending slower, deliberate pulses that mirrored the alien sequence. The responses came back more structured, more consistent, and gradually, a silent dialogue began to take shape. The alien projections appeared to acknowledge the humans' attempts, adjusting their own energy patterns in response. The crew felt a mixture of relief, exhilaration, and awe, realizing that they were witnessing intelligence, recognizing intelligence, a moment that no human had ever experienced before. Every interaction became a careful test. Each pulse, each mirrored signal was measured and analyzed. The crew noticed that the aliens seemed particularly impressed by the Titan class itself. Its sheer size, sophistication, and capability appeared to register in the patterns of light, as if the ship itself was a message of humanity's technological achievement. This realization filled the crew with pride, but also reinforced the need for respect and careful handling. They understood that diplomacy, even across species, required patience, observation, and humility. As the silent dialogue continued, subtle patterns of understanding emerged. The humans sent sequences designed to communicate basic concepts: direction, numbers, energy levels, and even the concept of cooperation. The aliens responded in ways that suggested comprehension, using variations in pulse frequency, brightness, and duration. They mirrored basic patterns and introduced new ones, hinting at more complex ideas. The crew became increasingly confident that this was the beginning of real interspecies communication, not just observation, but a meaningful exchange of information and intent. Psychologists and linguists aboard worked alongside engineers and pilots, interpreting the sequences as language in its purest, most abstract form. They began to recognize elements of syntax and repetition, hints of structure that could be developed into a shared system. Each breakthrough was celebrated quietly, as the stakes remained unimaginably high. Every message sent, every pulse received, represented a step toward understanding, a small victory in the vast, silent void of space. The more the humans engaged, the more the aliens seemed to respond with curiosity and patience. Their projections moved with subtle adjustments, almost as if expressing emotion or intention. The crew noticed variations that suggested approval, recognition, and perhaps even admiration. The pattern of communication became almost musical, a rhythm that both species could sense and respond to, encouraging the crew to continue refining their methods, learning from each response, and building a deeper connection across the gulf of space. Through careful observation, repeated testing, and slow adaptation, the standoff transformed into mutual recognition. The alien intelligence acknowledged the Titan class not as a threat, but as an equal capable of thought, strategy, and creativity. For the first time, the humans realized that they were not merely observers, but participants in a dialogue that transcended language, culture, and biology. This recognition was profound, a validation of humanity's potential to reach out and be understood in the cosmos. By the end of this period, the initial tension had eased, replaced by a fragile but growing trust. The humans continued to refine their signals, and the aliens continued to respond in kind. The bridge of understanding, though incomplete, had been established, and both sides seemed to recognize it. The crew felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that patience, observation, and respect had opened the door to something extraordinary, a true exchange of intelligence and recognition, marking a milestone in humanity's journey among the stars. For the first time, the crew could sense the aliens' curiosity as genuine, not defensive. The sequence that had started as a mystery had unlocked a new level of interaction. and the Titan-class crew knew they had taken humanity's first real step toward meaningful contact. The excitement and anticipation were tangible, as every pulse, every flash of light, every mirrored sequence carried promise of discovery, friendship, and understanding. And humanity's place in the larger universe was beginning to take shape, one pulse at a time. Through the careful observation and ongoing communication attempts, the humans aboard the Titan class began to notice patterns that suggested far more than simple curiosity. The alien object was not just a ship or a station, but an ancient construct, a monitoring facility built by a civilization long gone. Its design and technology were beyond anything humanity could comprehend. Layers of energy shielding, adaptive structures, and complex internal geometries indicated that it had been observing intelligent life across the galaxy for centuries, perhaps even millennia. The crew realized that their presence had triggered a recognition protocol, one that assessed the capabilities, intentions, and intelligence of the approaching species. The rhythmic pulses, the light sequences, and the holographic projections were all part of a vast communication system designed to evaluate and respond to new life. It became clear that humanity was being measured, studied, and acknowledged. The object's creators had long disappeared, but their technology remained, a silent testament to their curiosity and foresight. As the humans interacted more confidently, the alien signals became more structured and expressive, patterns repeated with greater consistency, almost like a language had been unlocked. The crew began to understand that the object recognized the Titan class as worthy of direct observation, not as a threat, not as a random anomaly, but as an intelligent species capable of reason and creativity. Every pulse and light sequence seemed to convey respect, a subtle acknowledgement of achievement. The implications were staggering. The crew was witnessing the first official recognition of humanity by an intelligence far older and more advanced than themselves. It was a moment of profound historical significance, a confirmation that humans were no longer alone in the cosmic arena. The realization filled the bridge with awe and excitement. Yet it also brought a sense of responsibility. Humanity had been granted attention, and with it came the duty to act wisely, thoughtfully, and respectfully. Scientists and engineers analyzed the object's structure in greater detail, discovering that its systems were self-maintaining, adaptive, and almost alive in function. Energy conduits shifted dynamically, shielding adjusted automatically, and sensor arrays repositioned themselves with apparent intelligence. The alien construct was a marvel of engineering, blending observation, protection, and communication into a single entity. Every discovery reinforced the understanding that humanity was not merely being watched, but was being engaged, studied, and acknowledged with purpose. The recognition extended beyond technology, touching a sense of shared awareness. The humans realized that the pulses and signals conveyed more than data. They expressed comprehension of achievement and curiosity. The alien system seemed to evaluate not just the Titan class itself, but the species behind it. Every maneuver, every response, every adaptation of the humans was noted and reflected in the signals. The crew felt a profound connection forming. One built on observation, intellect, and mutual recognition. Communication became easier as both sides adapted. The humans refined their signaling, using patterns that mirrored the object's sequences. The aliens responded with greater clarity, repeating sequences and introducing new variations that hinted at concepts of approval, understanding, and assessment. The interaction, though still nonverbal, had become meaningful. A dialogue of recognition and respect, establishing a bridge between species separated by vast distances and differences in biology, perception, and experience. The crew began to comprehend that the object's purpose was not hostile, but evaluative. It had observed countless civilizations, and humanity's Titan class had passed its initial scrutiny. The recognition was subtle yet unmistakable, a silent statement that humans had achieved a milestone in their technological and cognitive development. This realization inspired a mix of pride, humility, and responsibility among the crew. They understood that their actions and decisions would define how humanity was perceived in the eyes of this ancient intelligence. By the end of this phase, the humans had established a tentative but profound connection. The alien construct continued its monitoring, but now with signals that were almost welcoming, acknowledging the presence, capability, and potential of the Titan class and its crew, humanity had crossed a threshold, stepping from mere observers of the cosmos into recognized participants in an interstellar network of intelligence. Every crew member felt the weight and excitement of this achievement, knowing they had witnessed history in the making. The revelation that the object was a relic of an ancient civilization, still capable of intelligent interaction, changed everything. The Titan class was not just exploring space, it had become a symbol of humanity's place in the universe. The crew realized that the knowledge and experience gained from this encounter would shape generations to come. Humanity had been recognized, respected, and given a glimpse of the vast, intelligent cosmos beyond their home world. And in that recognition, hope, curiosity, and determination flourished, fueling the next steps of exploration and understanding. The Titan class began its journey back to Earth, carrying with it knowledge, data, and experiences that would change humanity forever. Every system on board was monitored meticulously, ensuring that the ship and its precious cargo of information returned safely. Scientists aboard documented every signal, every light pulse, and every holographic projection they had encountered. The crew felt a mixture of relief and exhilaration, knowing that they had completed the first direct encounter with an advanced alien intelligence. As they approached home, Earth's space agencies prepared to receive the data. Teams of researchers, engineers, and linguists were ready to analyze every detail. Each byte of information held clues about the alien construct, its creators, and the intelligence that still animated it. Governments and policymakers debated how to handle the discovery, understanding that the implications were profound. The fact that humanity had been recognized by an ancient, advanced civilization meant that everything from technology development to international relations could change overnight. Crew members took turns reviewing logs, reliving the moments of contact. The pulsing lights, the shifting holographic forms, the patterns of intelligence that had studied and acknowledged them. Each memory brought awe and a deep sense of accomplishment. Humanity had reached a milestone, and the crew understood that they had been witnesses and participants in history. The experience reinforced a sense of pride, but also a profound humility, realizing that they were only the beginning of humanity's engagement with the wider cosmos. Back on Earth, scientists marveled at the data transmitted by the Titan class. Images of the alien construct's structure revealed technology that had no parallel in human history. Energy systems operated in ways previously thought impossible. Materials reflected light and absorbed energy in ways that challenged current understanding. The data promised revolutionary advances in physics, engineering, and communication. Humanity's knowledge of the universe had expanded in ways no one had imagined. The return of the Titan class also sparked public fascination and speculation. News of the encounter spread cautiously, with select details released to maintain security and prevent panic. Yet the idea that humans had been acknowledged by an extraterrestrial intelligence captured imaginations worldwide. People debated the meaning of the encounter, the purpose of the ancient civilization that had built the construct, and what humanity's next steps should be. The story inspired a new generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers to look to the stars with curiosity and hope. The crew debriefed continuously, sharing insights, observations, and personal experiences. They discussed the subtle ways the alien intelligence had conveyed recognition and respect, how its sequences and projections had tested their understanding and adaptability. The lessons learned went beyond technology, touching diplomacy, patience, and the understanding of communication across unimaginable differences. Every member of the Titan-class team felt the weight of responsibility, knowing that the future of interstellar relations could depend on their actions and reports. Humanity now understood that the cosmos was not silent or empty, that intelligent life had existed, observed, and even judged their readiness for contact. The Titan class had proved that humans could reach across the void and be recognized. Its mission had validated human ingenuity, persistence, and curiosity. The experience fostered a renewed sense of purpose, inspiring projects in advanced propulsion, energy management, and communication technologies aimed at future encounters. As the Titan class returned to port, the crew was greeted with admiration and reverence. Their journey had redefined humanity's place in the universe. They had been the first to make contact, to be acknowledged, and to survive the encounter with respect intact. Celebrations were quiet but heartfelt, for everyone understood that this was only the beginning of a much larger journey. The knowledge gained would inform space exploration, scientific research, and the way humanity approached the cosmos for decades to come. In the months following the mission, humanity analyzed the alien signals, uncovering principles of physics and communication previously unimaginable. Engineers adapted these insights into experimental technologies, while philosophers and ethicists debated the broader implications of interstellar recognition. Humanity's confidence grew, tempered by humility. Knowing that the universe held mysteries far greater than any single species could fathom. The Titan-class mission had proven that intelligent life was not merely possible elsewhere. It had acknowledged humans, a milestone of recognition that transformed hope into reality. The encounter marked a turning point, not just in exploration, but in human understanding. The stars that once seemed distant and silent now held meaning and potential. Humanity had been noticed, assessed, and respected, and the lessons of the Titan-class mission would guide every decision, every technological advance, and every journey into the unknown. A new era had begun, one in which humans were no longer merely observers of the universe, but recognized participants in the grand interstellar community. Forever changed by the acknowledgement of an intelligence that had waited patiently for millennia,